Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Lotus Lounge on December 14th, 2023. We're getting near the end of the year. I'm Chad B. This is Coco B. And she's Carrie B. Coco, impromptu appearance at a girl. She wants to be a star. So anyway, hey, this week we're gonna touch on something real quick. We had a colleague of ours point out something to us that made us kind of go, this would be a good thing to maybe talk about. And we're going to just touch on three popular things recommended by many experts for the skin, which really are not good recommendations. So basically, it's three things not to do. Yeah, really. So anyway, there's a lot of information out there on the internet, and a lot of it's half truths. Some of it's you can classify as disinformation, but it's in the mainstream belief, and it's been pushed by a lot of experts, and it's what we've been taught to think about, and it's been recommended to us for a long time. But the more we find out, the more we realize it's not the best information, and so we don't recommend it. It's basically three things to not do. So we're going to go to our resident expert, the lovely Carrie B. And Carrie, what's the first thing that's not the best thing to do?
So the first recommendation that's pretty universal out there in my field and in the medical field is to wear daily sunscreen. That is a skin recommendation that is highly recommended by experts.
Mm-hmm.
Wear daily sunscreen. And the problem I have with this recommendation is that so many sunscreens on the market today are actually very toxic.
Mm-hmm.
The active ingredients in sunscreens cause more free radical damage than the sun itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, and there's one ingredient in particular, many of you have heard about it. It's oxybenzone. And it is a hormone disruptor, and it is known to cause hormone disruption, especially within the reproductive organs.
Yeah.
So, and we can get into talking about how it harms coral reefs and destroys life in the ocean. So if it destroys life in the ocean, what is it doing to you?
Exactly. And that's probably what a lot of people are familiar with. They've seen like reformulations, or this doesn't include this now or something. It still doesn't mean that they're better choices with sunscreen. So sunblocks are better. But anyway, continue, please.
And the only sunscreen that, as far as an active ingredient, that I recommend in my practice is zinc oxide. And zinc oxide is a mineral. It's a highly effective sunscreen, but it's also really good for the skin. I mean, it reduces redness, it promotes healing. So it's multi-purpose, and it's not toxic to the body. So that is the only sunscreen I'll recommend.
Well, it's not the sunblock, isn't it, technically, or?
No, their proper name is sunscreen because
that's good to know.
Blocks the sun. Okay. So that would be a false statement on packaging. So I think at one point the industry was using the term sunblock, but that is incorrect. So it's sunscreen. So it screens the sun.
Okay.
So this is a very common recommendation that I believe is somewhat of a half truth, because there are times I do wear sunscreen, but I do not wear mainstream sunscreens that you'll find at Walmart, Target. I do not wear those.
Sure. Okay. So that was the first. What's the second?
The second common recommendation kind of correlates back to the first one, but that's to avoid the sun altogether.
Mm-hmm.
That is a very common recommendation. Wear daily sunscreen. In fact, don't go out in the sun at all. And that is just not a healthy recommendation, because we all need sun exposure to be healthy, functional human beings.
Yeah.
We are meant to be in nature. We are meant to work in nature. We're actually not meant to be in cubicles in front of a computer all day long, hunched over, away from the sun.
Mm.
So our relationship with the sun has gotten to be unhealthy. We get what I call intermittent sun exposure. You know, our skin is not able to adapt to the sun like it's supposed to. Like in the springtime, you start going out into the sun, you stay out for a few minutes, your skin slowly starts to adapt, and it starts to build a layer of protection, what we call a tan.
Mm-hmm.
That is what protects us from the sun. But yeah, avoiding sun exposure is just not a good thing to
Sure.
do.
It's
And
just
intermittent sun exposure is not a good thing either,
this.
because without that layer of protection, you're just going out and frying yourself.
Okay. So
Um,
it's smart exposure.
yeah, or I call it proper sun
Mm-hmm.
exposure.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, we all know about vitamin D. We need vitamin D for a
Mm-hmm.
healthy immune system, a healthy gut. We need it to absorb calcium, to keep our bones and teeth strong, you know. So the sun is extremely important to overall health. And I never, ever tell a client to avoid the sun.
Sure.
That would be irresponsible of me.
Okay.
So yes, that is number 2. You see how number 2 relates to number 1?
Yes. And then
Yeah.
what's the third?
The third recommendation is that everyone should be using a retinol cream.
And that's not the case.
No. Retinol creams are can be very irritating to the skin, and can be very irritating to certain skin types, creating a lot of irritation on the skin and compromising the skin's barrier function.
Mm.
And this is what is so interesting. Once the skin's barrier function is compromised, then you do need a sunscreen because you're not protected from the UV rays with a compromised skin barrier.
Ah.
So that is why I say disinformation or half truths.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, retinol creams can be overused, just like anything. And when you overuse it, you get the same skin symptoms: irritation, redness, flaky, and a compromised skin barrier.
Mm.
A compromised skin barrier, okay, you're not protected from the sun at that point. So I don't use retinol creams. I use retinol alternatives.
Mm-hmm.
We have a great serum that we make ourselves that really helps to increase cellular turnover naturally. And that would be the rosehip oil
Mm-hmm.
and the sea buckthorn oil.
Okay.
2 oils that are just naturally rich in vitamin A, because retinol is a vitamin A derivative.
Mm.
It is vitamin A that our skin utilizes. So I believe in retinol alternatives, something that's more gentle to the skin, something
Mm-hmm.
going to naturally increase cellular turnover.
And it doesn't damage the skin barrier, and which allows you to spend proper time with the sun, and you don't need the bad sunscreens. So, okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it keeps your skin barrier intact.
Okay. So those are, I mean, just to recap real quick then, so we got the 3 things that are highly recommended by many folks that we say aren't recommended. And so so it's, once again, it's the first one was wear daily sunscreen. You don't need to. 2, avoid the sun too much. No, don't completely avoid the sun. And 3, everyone should use retinol cream. No. they can be a little harsh on a lot of people, overused, and retinol alternatives are a better choice. So, okay. Well, is there anything else to wrap up this week, or?
Well, I'll just end it with many applications in the skincare industry can actually be harmful to your overall health. So it's important to get a second opinion, do some research around the subject.
Which is why at Lotus Evolution's Holistic Spa and with the Evolve skincare line that we have, we take the natural and organic approach.
Yes.
We take the toxins out of the products and the treatment room. So
yes.
Great. So
very well said.
Anyway, so once again, if anybody's got questions or comments, put them in the comments on Facebook, or direct message us, or reach out to us via the website lotusevolutions.com. The lovely new look of the site. Let us know what you think of the new site, by the way. It looked pretty cool. So anyway, so I think that wraps up this week. On behalf of Carrie B and Coco B, who has scooted somewhere, I'm Chad B, and we'll see you. I think we'll be around next week, won't we? Or we'll figure it out. It's a holiday week next week. We'll do something fun. Okay. Well, thanks, everyone. We hope you found this informative. I did.